Welcome back, everyone, to Stories That Shouldn't Be Told. In today's episode, I'm sharing a true terrifying story about a college road trip and a light that should never have been followed. Every story is a warning. Some lights should never be approached. But before we begin, make sure to subscribe, like the video, and share it with anyone who loves a good scare. And let me know in the comments, have you ever seen something out there that you couldn't explain? Your support keeps the stories coming. Now, let's begin. I was 20, driving home from my college campus for the summer. A sprawling 10-hour trip across desolate highways and forgotten backroads. It was late May, and the oppressive heat of Texas was just beginning to settle in. I've always been drawn to the eerie, to the places that time forgot. Ghost towns, abandoned homesteads, anything with a story whispered in the wind. That's where I felt most alive. My friends found it strange, but to me, it was a way of connecting with something deeper, something ancient. I'd had my share of odd encounters, felt presences, heard unexplainable sounds. But what happened on this particular trip was different. It was a cold dread that lingered, a feeling of being observed even now. I had planned to break up the drive, but a last-minute change of plans meant I was pushing through the night. Around 2 a.m., somewhere deep in West Texas, my GPS decided to reroute me off the main interstate. Construction ahead, it chirped, taking the scenic route. The scenic route, in this case, was a barely paved county road, flanked by endless fields of dry scrub and an impossibly vast star-strewn sky. The kind of sky that makes you feel utterly alone. My car, a trusty but aging sedan, was the only vehicle on the road. The hum of the engine and the crackle of static on the radio were the only sounds. After about 30 minutes, I started to feel uneasy. The scenic route was getting narrower, the asphalt crumbling into gravel, and the sparse fence posts that once lined the road had vanished, replaced by tangled brush that seemed to lean in, as if watching. Then I saw it. A single light in the distance, barely a pinprick against the inky blackness. It was stationary, oddly bright, and unlike any rural farmhouse light I'd ever seen. As I drove closer, I realized it wasn't a house light at all. It was too low to the ground, too intensely focused. My mind, ever drawn to the strange, wondered if it was a hunter, or maybe someone camping. But out here, in the middle of nowhere, with no turnoffs or discernible landmarks, it just felt wrong. The light began to flicker, a slow, deliberate pulse, like a dying ember. And as it flickered, I started to hear a faint, high-pitched hum. It wasn't mechanical. It was more like a sustained vocal tone, a drawn-out lament that seemed to vibrate in the very air around me. It was too soft to be a human singing, too steady to be an animal. My grip tightened on the steering wheel. The humming grew louder, a disjointed, almost ethereal chorus, and the light, though still singular, seemed to expand and contract with the sound, like a pulsating organ. I instinctively slowed down, peering into the darkness, trying to make sense of what I was seeing and hearing. The light was now intensely bright, so much so that it was hard to look directly at it, yet it cast no discernible shadows. And the hum? It was no longer just a hum. It had morphed into what sounded unmistakably like multiple voices whispering in unison, but the words were unintelligible, a garbled, chilling murmur. Then, from the edges of the light, shapes began to emerge. Not distinct figures, but blurry, tall silhouettes, indistinct and wavering, as if seen through heat haze. They seemed to sway, almost dancing to the rhythm of the unearthly chorus. They weren't moving towards me, but they were definitely there, surrounding the pulsating light. My rational mind screamed hallucination, but the cold dread in my stomach was all too real. I felt an overwhelming urge to just keep driving, to speed past whatever this was, but my foot, almost of its own accord, hesitated on the accelerator. It was like I was trapped in a nightmare, unable to move. The whispering grew louder, and I could feel the vibrations of it It felt like they were speaking to me, though I couldn't understand a single word. Suddenly, the light intensified to a blinding flash, and the whispering chorus swelled to an unbearable shriek. The shape seemed to lunge forward, elongating, distorting into grotesque forms. My foot slammed down on the accelerator, adrenaline finally overriding the strange paralysis. I floored it, the old car roaring to life, dust and gravel spraying from beneath the tires. I didn't look back. I just drove. The image of the pulsating light and the swaying figures burned into my retinas. The humming and whispering faded into the wind as I sped away, but the feeling of being watched, of having disturbed something ancient and unknowable, stayed with me for the rest of the drive. I eventually found my way back to the main interstate, but the vast, empty stretches of road never felt the same. I've searched online, looking for reports of anything similar in that part of West Texas. I've found old Native American legends of sky spirits and whispering lights, but nothing concrete. Nothing that offers a rational explanation for what I experienced. Was it a cult? Some strange scientific experiment? Or something far older, something that has always existed in the desolate corners of the world, waiting for an unwitting traveler to stumble upon it? I don't know. And honestly, I'm not sure I want to. Some mysteries are better left unsolved. That was the end of the story. If it gave you chills or made you think twice about lonely roads at night, please give this video a like. Share it with someone who loves the eerie unknown. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more true horror stories like this one.